loudly for me. So I'm gonna do a little vibe check. This is just for the graduates. The old folks won't necessarily get this. So you're gonna look at someone next to you, pick a side, stare them deeply in their eyes, and I want you to say, "You to graduation." All right, y'all awake. Well, thank you all for having me. Good morning to President Mimi, the members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, family, friends, and especially the Framingham State class of 2026. Before I fully jump in, I have a confession. I brought a lot of people with me today, y'all. My mother, my stepfather, my family, my closest friends, members of my team, even my boss from my very first job 20 years ago. So I know it's your graduation, but today is a special day for me too. This is my first college commencement speech. And so you can see them up there. I'm letting you know, because if you wonder why there are people that are getting emotional before I've even said anything meaningful, now you know why. They're here with me. I need to acknowledge something else though. I know I'm standing on this stage because students use their voices to put me here, and I do not take that lightly. At a moment when many people feel powerless, you reminded yourselves that your voices still matter, and more importantly, that who we choose to elevate matters. So thank you. And as I learned more about Framingham State, I realized that spirit has always existed here. This is a university founded on the belief that education should not only belong to the privileged few. And now, nearly 200 years since your founding, more than half of the students graduating today are the first in their families to earn a college degree. That is not just personal achievement. That's right. That's not just personal achievement, that is generational change. So shout out to you all the first gen grads in here and the families who helped to get them here. I also learned that this is the university that admitted Mary Miles Bibb, one of the first Black teachers in the United States, because a principal chose conviction over comfort. And that act changed what was possible for all of us. I definitely think that's the reason why I'm up here today. That matters especially right now, because you all are graduating into a world with political instability, to put it lightly, economic uncertainty, AI that's disrupting entire industries almost overnight. And it has made things that previous generations assumed were stable feel anything but that. This year, this country is celebrating the 250th anniversary of a revolution built on the promise of rights and participation for all. And yet every day we watch those promises being dismantled in real time. And underneath the big political noise, something quieter is happening, and I think it's just mysterious. We are in the most connected yet disconnected generation in history.
That's for sure.
You all are inheriting a world where people can reach anyone, anywhere, at any time, yet struggle to really know each other. A world where we are hyper visible, but many of us still feel unseen. And there is endless connection, but very little belonging. So when the world feels overwhelming like this, our instinct, definitely my instinct, is to pull back, to isolate, to become cynical, to stop participating. But I want to tell you something that I've had to remind myself over and over again, even including this week, that in a world that profits from your disconnection, literally, businesses profit off of this, choosing to build real community is a radical act. Now, let me tell you a little bit about where the love of community and belonging came from for me. I grew up in Albany, New York. My father believed deeply in public institutions like this, public schools, the power of people organizing. Our house was always full with political leaders, neighbors, family, friends. We had the best cookouts. My school was connected to my church, to my neighborhood, and to my home. So from a very young age, I understood something that I didn't really develop language for until I was much older. Community is infrastructure. It's not a nice to have, it is the thing that holds everything we believe in up. My mother, who is also here with me today, also taught me another belief. She believed that environments shape your possibility. And she came from a family that proved that. Her aunt, my great aunt, Emma Gresham, was the second Black woman ever elected to office in the state of Georgia. So way back when, in 1985, Aunt Emma discovered that her hometown, my family's hometown of Keysville, Georgia, had an inactive charter that hadn't functioned since 1933. So to put that another way, in 50 years, over 50 years, this town had essentially been erased, forgotten on purpose. And my Aunt Emma found out about this, and she saw an opportunity. She saw this as something for her to solve. So what did she do? She ran for mayor, first mayor ever elected in Keysville. She won, and then 5 hours later, because of backlash from white residents, a Superior Court judge stripped the position from her. She continued to fight. It took years of legal battles. It had to go all the way to the Supreme Court before her election was finally upheld in 1990. And over the next 20 years, she brought Keysville a water system, street lights, a fire department, a post office. So she didn't just leave this town, she built one. And guess what? When all this started, she was already in her 60s. She retired as mayor of Keysville at 80 years old. So my mother, who grew up going to Keysville, absorbed that message about the importance of shaping the environment around you, how important your environment is to shaping who you are. So as I got ready to choose a college, she knew I needed a new environment to become who I was meant to be. And she sent me to Spelman College in Atlanta, kicking and screaming. What I discovered at Spelman and later at Harvard was something I actually didn't expect. Belonging is really complicated. So yes, at Spelman, everyone was Black or woman, they were brilliant, they were ambitious, yet I still questioned whether I belonged there. Then I moved to Boston or Cambridge for graduate school at Harvard. Professionally, right, a no-brainer, something that changed my life. But emotionally, I felt completely untethered. I sat in those Ivy League classrooms with my 4.0 GPA, shout out to me. And I still wondered if I was really supposed to be there. So I want you all to think about this for a second. I was succeeding by every external measure, and I still felt like something was missing. Later, I started to call that success without belonging. Have any of you all felt that way? Like you checked all the boxes, you did everything right, and you still felt like you were on the outside looking in. And for years, I kept waiting for someone to solve that feeling for me, to make Boston feel more human, more warm, more welcoming, more connected. I kept thinking, surely someone else sees this. Surely someone else feels the same problem that I do. And then one day I thought, it dawned on me, what if I can see this gap so clearly because I'm the one who's supposed to help close it? And that question changed my life. The answer to it later became Boston All Black, but honestly that didn't come until almost 15 years later. And it wasn't because I had a business plan. It's not because anyone told me I was the right person. I actually had plenty of reasons why I thought I wasn't. One, I'm not from Boston. Two, I went to school for psychology and education. Three, back then I thought entrepreneurs were people who just couldn't commit to a real job. But I couldn't let this question go. Because when I got to Boston, I was a young Black woman in a city that is smart and innovative and full of opportunity, and also a city that wasn't built with me in mind. And I kept looking for it and looking for what I needed, and I couldn't find it, so I built it. And today, Boston While Black helps connect Black Bostonians to each other, into the city, in ways that help them not just survive, but thrive. All of this has been built off this belief I have that community is not luxury, it's infrastructure. Just like roads and water and water systems and schools, without it, everything else starts to break down. And that's what my Aunt Emma knew. Now, of course, I chose to launch BWB in 2020. This has been, for lack of a better word, an interesting time to be focused on anything with diversity, equity, and inclusion.